So like I say, like I used to go to Contact Theatre we were talking about earlier, but like I was talking to my boy about this this evening. Like I grew up in the New Labour, Tony Blair era when youth projects were being funded left, right, and centre, and we got to go and try so many different things. And I grew up going to youth centres and theatre projects and music studios and meeting all kinds of people. The same time we're in the studio, there's like drag theatre festivals happening downstairs. There's people coming from all over the world to do projects, and so like I was in and around this like from young. So about 10 years ago, my boy got a residency at an art gallery in Manchester called the Whitworth Art Gallery. And then when he finished that, he tagged me into it. So I was like, all right, cool, I can go get paid more money than I'd ever seen to go and chill in an art gallery and do stuff. Cool. Can you hear that?
I hear a little bit of thing in the background. I'm not sure what it is though.
It's a Hoover.
It's a Hoover. It's a Hoover. It's a Hoover because I'm trying to turn it into, again, this is why I can't battle. I can't ad-lib. I can't freestyle.
It's because you're not trying to suck up to man.
There's a big up in there. Something, I don't know. Do you know what?
Yeah, hold that,
I'll
Henry,
catch you with it when you least suspect it in a few minutes after he's finished his story. Anyway, you were saying, sir.
So I went and I got this residency at the gallery, and as part of it I had to go do some youth work. Part of the funding of it, I had to go do what they call outreach work, so go to other community organizations or represent the gallery there. So I did that, and then I just started seeing these opportunities popping up, go and do work here and there, artists in residence, you know what I mean, associate artists and stuff, and I just started applying for stuff. So for years now, man, it was my job up until COVID when I had my daughter and stuff. For years I was working in youth centres, art galleries. I was going to prisons. I work with like the Youth Justice Service to work with kids who were like on probation and stuff. I got to travel, man. I went to New Delhi, Milan, Budapest, Barcelona. I was just chipping about, just doing this, going places and like doing creative workshops with people, and it was amazing. So I think it's really valuable. I think I don't know if you've seen the show Adolescence recently with Stephen Graham, but I think one of the takeaways that I took away from that is like just the importance of having role models. Is instead of stuff just being online, is having people who are older than you. I used to think people who were older than me when I was a teenager were like mad cool, and I'd want them to see me in a certain way. There was a time when I was at a youth centre and there was 3 kids were in a room, and another kid came into the room and they all went quiet, and then they left, and this kid was like quite very camp. I think he's gay. He was very camp, and the kids looked around at each other and then called him the F word, right? And I said, yo, that's not cool, you know. That's really not cool at all. And they knew me as Caveman, this rapper who was older than them, and they was all like, oh, fair enough, sorry, innit? And it like, and I've really often for years thought like, you know, if we're not taking time with younger people to try and teach them some of the lessons we had to learn the hard way and by making mistakes, then like what are we doing, right? Where's society gonna go? Aside from that, there's also like mad funding and money that you can go and get doing this shit, so it's cool. So yeah, I was in Colwyn Bay last week because a friend of mine called Kenny, he was living in Manchester. I met him as an MC doing music nights and stuff, and he's from Colwyn Bay in North Wales, and he left Manchester and went there and set up this organisation called Underground Artist Movement, and And basically the same stuff I was doing at Contacts as a 15-year-old, he's now doing there. But instead of being in Manchester, this massive cosmopolitan city with 2/3 people in it, he's in a small town in North Wales with 15,000 people in it. And so he called me and he was just asked me if I wanted to come down and come and work with them. And I was like, yeah, man, that sounds great. And again, like I say, I love to travel, go meet other people, and I think try and be some kind of positive role model, you know, for these kids who are coming up, and show them, you know, I'm not the most famous rapper in the world. I'm not H, I'm not 50 Cent, but I live off doing what I do, and I don't say stuff in my music that I don't believe in or that I don't like. I'm me, and I've got to travel and have amazing experiences and make great friends and make music that I believe in. And you can go and do this stuff too, and you can be bigger and better than me if you want, if you just go and do it. So yeah, hold tight Kenny, hold tight underground artist movement, and just hold tight the kids, man, because the older we get, man, like the more we're like, oh, the kids are different these days, but they're the same. They're just seeing different shit, but they're the same. And I think if we don't take time to look out for the kids, then we can't complain when the kids come and stab us, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what, let me ask you a question, but I'll sidle up to it by saying, when I first started work at 16, I'll never forget do you know what my training was for my first ever job? They sat me with the least interested person in the fucking call center. Of about 100 people, the least interested, the person who was least likely to ever recognize or acknowledge my presence for 2 weeks, who said nothing to me the whole time and just said, just shut up and listen. And then I went on the phones, right? And I never forget that, because I remember that at the time the thought was, well, sink or swim. You'll either make it or you won't, right? And I'll never forget that, because in my experience, it was like, right, that taught me an apathy that I hated. I didn't agree with it. I didn't resonate with it. And it's no surprise that I don't currently stay in that industry, because I fucking despise it. I now take that experience and it informs how I don't mentor people, but when I see younger guys come into business now, I try and give them lessons that they can actually take on, that they can impart on themselves. I don't force it on them. I just say, hey, listen, just think about this. And the reason I do that is because I just think, wouldn't it have been nice if someone had just taken that little bit of extra time with me to say, hey, listen, I know you don't get it, so let me try and explain it a different way. Let me see if I can put it to you in a way that actually gets it. I always think about that experience whenever I'm struggling with someone I'm trying to teach, because I just think, yeah, but it's worth the effort now to try and give them something that they can take away that maybe benefits them, and they can then pay it forward. I love that saying of pay it forward. Don't pay me back. Yeah. Pay it forward.
Yep, 100%.
Was there an experience then that informed you to that? Was there like a genesis of that, like a moment where you're like, do you know what? Whenever I'm thinking about doing something new or fresh, or I'm frustrated with it, I think back to this moment that it would have been nice if someone had taken that time with me. I'm not going to punish the world by denying it to the next person. I'm going to pay it forward.
So it's interesting because the organization I was just talking about, United Artists, Underground Artist Movement, when I first spoke to Kenny, I'd known him for a few years, but when I spoke to him on the phone, he was so excited about what he was doing. He was so like, I'm doing this, and we're doing that, and we're going to there, and we're doing that. And it's like, just that passion, like, you catch on to. And yeah, there was 100% when I was a teenager, there was people who made me feel inspired. Like a big one was Visceral, who I don't know if you would know, but he was a battle rapper. He did his thing on like the King of the Ronalds era, but he used to host open mics that I used to go to, and even when I wasn't very good, like, there was always a space for me to go and try things out and learn from them. And there's another rapper called Chunky from Manchester, a great rapper. He's like an international, multidisciplinary artist right now, doing this thing. And I remember just one time, like, we'd done a thing together, and he was like, yo, I believe in you, you know? And it was so gratifying to hear that, and I try and pass that stuff. I try and pay that forward now. There was multiple people who just took the time with me to give me the space and the grace to be good but also not to be that good. And again, I feel like that's something that like Premier Battles are super on, you know, like they could just, if they wanted, do 4 events a year and get the big names to do it, but like they choose to go and do the academy and the undisclosed, and give someone, say, oh, I know you lost your last battle and it were so great, but like give it another go, just go again, try it, man. Because I think giving people that space and that grace, and I think also like art is not always about being amazing at art. I think sometimes people make a song and the song's okay, but it meant so much to them, and that was the way that they dealt with the fact that their granddad died, whatever it is. Like I just think it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, there was 100% people who were that for me, and I definitely try and be that for other people.